Thank you so much. Thank you, beloved members of the MMBA, respected the Additional Advocate General, Mr. Bhaskar, the past presidents, Mr. Alagram Jodi, Mr. Srinivasa Raghavan, Ms. Krishnaveni, Subhash Babu, and the host of other previous presidents, the secretaries, Mahendran, the senior lawyer, and the president and secretaries of the other associations, Mr. Andiraj, Mr. Anbarasu, Mr. V. Ramakrishnan, and Mr. Karthi, Mr. Suresh and Mr. Venkatesh, senior members of the bar, my beloved junior members, thank you so much once again. And I am sure that you are all obsessed with the words uttered by the people who felicitate. And too many high-sounding expressions were given on me. I do not know whether I deserve it or not. Maybe the next general body or the next annual general meeting, I don't want to use the word general body because we are going to have so many general bodies this year. The next annual general meeting may be the place where you would find or rather judge whether these are high-sounding expressions actually I deserve or not. But anyhow, I'm so glad that senior people like Krishnaveni, Arul Vadivel Shekhar, Mr. Bhaskaran, Mr. Ajmal Khan, Mr. Srinivasa Raghavan, Andiraj, Anandavalli, Ramakrishnan, Thalamuttarasu, Chandran, Ilangovan, Mahendran, Mr. Armugam, all of them have taken the painful pleasure of coming over here and uttering these words of felicitation on me as well as the newly elected office bearers. I am so much enamored at the sight of these people. See how they are looking. They are all not only youngsters, but they are clad with beautiful dresses. It is a famous statement of Shakespeare, apparel oft makes the man. Therefore, apparel is always playing an equal part in the personality of a being. I always believe that. And these felicitation addresses, though they are called the felicitation addresses, they contained innumerable demands. And I was thinking that whether it's a general body or a felicitation function. But anyhow, these are all good reminders. We are living on this. We are every day walking on the razor's edge, experiencing both the good and the bad, the pros and the cons. We are not aliens. We also live on this very campus, experiencing all the things. But still, I must be grateful to all these great people who have come here and reminded us that these are all the problems that are highly burning in this campus. The most pivotal of that is what my learned friend Mr. Ajmal Khan told. And when he says we must take it very, very seriously, so also Mr. Shekhar. At the time, almost 2 decades ago, in 2004, we were facing critical problems. There was no bar, there was no bar room, there were no chambers, no place for the advocates to sit, nonetheless no place for study, no place for relaxation, no place for even taking food. The only place that was available to us was the library of the judges, which you would find in the first floor, ground floor. Only 2 tables with the 6 chairs were available. We poor people who came down here, we used to occasionally sit and read some papers. There was a time, almost 1 or 2 months later, we were prohibited from entering the hall. One administrative judge said that's the library intended for the judges, the bar shall not use it. Then the next administrative judge came, we appealed to him. He said, okay, we will permit you, but you sign at the time of your entry and sign again at the time of your exit. I was a little disturbed at the statement. I said that we are not industrial laborers. Therefore, you can't ask us to sign. Therefore, we protested, we did not go inside. Or some of the people went, signed. But anyhow, I also had to use that library, but I did not sign as a mark of protest. My learned friend Ajmal Khan, Shekhar, all these people know because he was the founder secretary of MBHA and Shekhar was the founder secretary of MAHA. We all experienced all this good and bad here. The one important thing almost all of them indicated today is that the bar's feeling that they are inferior to the bench. With a heavy heart I am saying that. In fact, bench goes only from the bar, never otherwise. Therefore, those who get elevated to the bench should all constantly remember their source. No stream can ever rise above the source. The spring must be always above. Bar is the spring. If something goes wrong, sometimes the stream believes that they are superior to the source, the spring. The fault is not theirs, the fault is ours. Why the source always feels inferior to them? Now the system has undergone a slight change. My learned friend beautifully said that we always used to say, or rather they very often say, not us, the bar. The bench, wherever they address the bar, they used to say, the justice dispensation system that is undertaken by the court is carried out by a chariot with the two wheels, and we are the two faces of the same coin. Mr. Ajmal Khan very succinctly pointed out, the one side is missing. It is just like the coin what Amitabh Bachchan used in Sholay, both sides the head. And who is responsible for that? See, one's liberty, one's pride, one's status can never be surrendered by another unless you surrender yourself. It is your behavior, it is the bar's behavior, you want to subjugate yourself. That's the whole problem. Voltaire famously said in those days, very difficult to free the people from the chains they respect. We always want that kind of things. At times what we feel here is, there is a bell ringing. For whom it is ringing? We do not know. When the bell rings, we go in. A court is already functioning for 2 hours. Then at the end, one bell rings, but we still see the courts unmindful of the bell, keep on calling the list, as though the lawyers have no other work. Every junior lawyer I know, every senior lawyer I know, everyone has got his own predicaments, his commitments at home. He has got a family to carry. He has got age-old parents to whom he must give medicine in the morning, take them to the hospital in cases of emergency. He has to drop his wife at the working place if she is working. If she is a homemaker, he has to procure something for her for the food. And he has to take the children for the school and the hospital out to the tuition center. Evening also the same thing, he will have to return. Taking back the children, getting something for the wife, and bringing back medicines to the parents. Unmindful of all these things. Why you are ringing the bell then? Stop ringing the bell. Number one. Secondly, most of the petitions I know, the primary point is violation of principles of natural justice. We were never heard. That is the primary point. But when the lawyer comes here espousing that point, are they heard? Here also the same thing happens. I have been seeing that if you want to take the order and go. If you add one more sentence, you will be imposed with the cost. At least the client was far safer. No cost was awarded. He was simply denied the principles of natural justice. But here, not only we are denied the principles of natural justice, but we are threatened with the imposition of a cost. Why it happens? Because the bar has become docile, I say with great respect. I have every right to tell you, because I am still a member of the bar. Unless you surrender your rights, nobody else can crush you. If something crushing happens, it is all on account of your own fault, our own fault. And for that, what shall be the redemption? No individual lawyer we can accuse for that. They are the associations which are responsible for that. Why do we have a collective bargaining point here? Because we must jointly do that. We never do that. We fail to do that. That's the whole trouble. Therefore, with a heavy heart, I am saying that I actually put a full stop to take up any leadership in this association since 2014. Because at that time, we had completed 10 years. Out of that, 7 years I was the president. I did not want to be here in these days anymore, except for academic events. But the situation is so compelling. I actually was so happy that Mr. Shekhar filed the nomination. And I later filed and went to Chennai. Over phone we were interacting for 2 full days. I putting pressure on him to contest. He putting pressure on me to contest. Somehow something happened and he suddenly withdrew. He now justifies saying that it's all for the welfare of the association. Maybe good. But see, remember, leader as an individual, I can't do anything all alone. I can't even do with this team of people all alone. unless you are all with us. It is the chariot which we must pull all together with the great impetus, with the similar force, and with the great enthusiasm. And if that happens, I am sure after one more year, when we meet again for the annual general meeting, there will be better signs and better talks than all these demands. And some of the demands you have raised, they are all very genuine demands. But I don't wish to say against you on this first day, as myself, that I will resolve everything. It's not possible. I confess to you, I will do like this. I will place all these matters democratically before this executive committee of 15 people first. And we will deliberate on this. And I am sure that they would also take it seriously, because these are all burning issues which are currently creating lots of havoc to this bar. We will certainly carry this forward, and if necessary, we will take it to the bench. And I assure you that democracy is democracy, but democracy is always not letter writing, not always addressing the bench bar meeting. What is happening in the bench bar meeting, I stopped going, because why? I am not happy with that. The judges sit in a row, they ask the lawyers to come in and sit in another row. The lawyers keep on making demands, and the judges ask the stenographer to take down. Yes, we will consider. That is all. Why don't they respond? Then what's the point in meeting if you are not able to give us a solution on the spot, or at least to say something assured? Why do you call this meeting? Why do you call this as a bench bar meeting? Absolute fake. With great respect, I say. Nothing happens. And I am requesting you, if peaceful democratic process doesn't work, we will have to necessarily take the extreme step. And I avoid using the expression boycott. I don't wish to use that word boycott. But I very carefully use the word, we shall refrain from attending the court, or at least certain courts, when these demands are not met out. I remember, Shekhar might remember, Ajmal Khan might remember, there were times when MMBA was leading the boycott. Though MMBA was branded as the least participant in boycotts, but still we did boycott. And I vividly remember even today, Justice Masalamani, when I entered the court, he was running the court. I made an appeal, I intervened when the counsels were arguing. I told the court that we have resolved a boycott. Please stop the proceedings. He said, no, I will not do that. Then I made an appeal that if you don't do that, then things which are not happy may happen. Then he called the police to arrest me. I said that's the moment I'm waiting for. Somehow the police did not come and arrest. Therefore, what I'm trying to emphasize is, if pleasing doesn't happen, vehemence will happen. The vehement demands will be raised. And if that doesn't happen, then coercive measures we have to necessarily take. Because at the end of the day, I always believe Constitution is handed down only to the lawyers, to nobody else. You all know, almost a few days short of 3 years were spent in the drafting of the Indian Constitution. And it was at last adopted on the 26th of November, 1949. After the adoption, some member of this, just like this audience, the Constituent Assembly member asked, Mr. Ambedkar, you have headed the team of drafting committee and gave out this wonderful constitution, which is the lengthiest in the world, containing 395 articles and 8 schedules in those days. Can you tell us which article is the most important of all? To this, Ambedkar answered, Article 32 is the heart and the soul of this constitution. What does Article 32 say? The fundamental right of the people to move the Supreme Court for the enforcement of the rights conferred under Part 3. Therefore, if the heart and soul of a constitution is handed down through Article 32, Article 32 is the right of the people to move the court, obviously through lawyers. If the constitution fails, it is the lawyers who fail it. If the constitution succeeds, it is the lawyers who succeed it, not the politicians, not the bureaucrats. It is the judiciary, and which is actually borne on the shoulders of the lawyers, which is upholding the constitution. Therefore, any measure of fight or any measure of demands or prosecution of the things, or even going to the extremity of saying that if you don't do that, we will have to do this. A bit of vehemence, but still that might be required for the safeguarding of not only this institution bar, but the entire judiciary on whose shoulders the Constitution is resting today. With these few words, I assure you on behalf of my team that we would try to do the best in the forthcoming year. And again, we wish all of you a good luck, a bright future, with the greatest deal of gratitude from our hearts for electing us. Thank you so much.